What's up, residents? Welcome to DangerVille. Today we're going to be reviewing Jurassic World Dominion. It came out today. We just saw it. Me and Jacob, who I'm joined with. Yeah. So it's fresh in our minds. Obviously, it's hard to start a review without talking about what other people might think about it, because whenever you go into these films, the first thing you're thinking of is how are other people perceiving it, and it's getting it's got 33% critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so not great, but the audience rating is, the last time I checked, at 80%.
It's pretty high. So it seems like we got a split.
It's like we've got a venom on our hands, it seems.
Going into it with everyone saying that it was crap, I was able to enjoy it more than when people say something's good and then it ends up not being good for me. And you know, I had a lot of there were some silly things that happened in the Dominion. I ain't gonna lie. And when I say that it's the Fast and the Furious of the Jurassic World, Jurassic Park movies, I 100% mean that, like, in both the good ways and the bad ways. It's very much that style of like over the top action, and kind of like, it's not what it used to be, and it's not the Jurassic Park that we.
A Jurassic movie.
Yeah.
I came out pretty disappointed, and I already had my expectations quite low. The theater sequence, the prologue, excellent. Not in the film.
Weird, not even show that.
The prehistoric sequence, which we knew wasn't going to be in the film, needed to be in the film because it sets up the dynamic between the Giganotosaurus and the T-Rex, but it's not in the film, so most audiences will just be like, why are these things fighting, without even understanding that it's like part of their natural instinct, I guess. But yeah, this film has humongous pacing issues. Like, I was sat there and I have no idea how far through the movie I am. Like, I don't know which act it is. I don't know how close we are to the ending. Usually films kind of like gear you up, and you know what the film's trying to achieve. But with this film, it's like, it just feels so random.
Yeah, I think your issue is saying like the whole pacing thing. Like, I didn't really mind it too much, because like a lot of movies that people love, I'm like, oh god, enough of the talking. Like, I know you're trying to build this crap, but I don't care. You're a lame character. Get off the screen. And it seemed like Dominion didn't allow that to happen, because every like 5 minutes something crazy new happened.
I don't know. I feel like this film had a lot of talking, and the problem is the writing was pretty bad. And I expected a bad script, because it was written by the same lady that did Pacific Rim Uprising.
It's better than paying for some crappy apartment.
So that's the standards that we're
working
with here, and it felt like it was written by the same person that did Pacific Rim Uprising. The writing goes as such: hello, insert name. This is insert what they do. Remember when? And then they just discuss like stuff that they've done in the past or whatever. She's very descriptive. She doesn't let people interact with each other. Like, a lot of this film is people just saying what they mean to each other. Like, the first thing that Ellie Sattler and Alan Grant say to each other after however long they've not seen each other is, Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler. That's all you can come up with?
Yeah, I don't walk up to any of my friends and say their name, like their full names. But then again, I guess, old people might think a little different because they're getting up there in age. But yeah, no, I mean, there is all that. I don't know. Like, for some reason, it didn't bother me. Like, I didn't care about any of that for some reason today watching that movie. Like, I was just having a good time. And I think I'm not going to go and say that the movie was, like, it definitely had all those issues, but they didn't bother me. Like, I think it's just because I've seen so many other things that really just, like, destroy my heart here recently. I'm like, hey, at least this is kind of in the realm. Like, it's completely different to the Jurassic Park we know, but, like, it's still enough in the core to where it's like, okay, these characters are still the same. They're acting a little weird. It seems a little goofy. It was almost like, like a good way of describing this movie. It was almost just like, let's get all these people together and have a good time and not really try too hard and just like throw a bunch of dinosaurs.
Which is a terrible excuse. And it's a
it
rubbish excuse for what's meant to be one of what is the top dinosaur franchise and one of the top franchises of all time.
It is.
You have You have plenty of films that want to have all this action. They want to make you have fun, and they don't boil down to making everything just like bad. They don't make it bad. And it's not to say this film is bad. It's above average.
No, yeah,
which is heartbreaking to say, because I love Jurassic World and Jurassic Park. They are my top things, alongside Godzilla and War of the Worlds and all that stuff. So to walk out and just, I felt kind of empty.
In the upper echelon,
I was like, I don't know what the film was trying to achieve. Like, what was it trying to make us feel? In the film, there are lots of great moments. The Mosasaurus, excellent for the brief bit that it shows up for. Addition of the locusts, I actually think is a great idea. I actually really liked them. The music, he does an excellent job still. Is it Michael Giacchino? However you pronounce his name, but he's consistently excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it still has the classic Jurassic Park vibes. Yeah, they knew exactly when to hit the right, like, when the old cast came in, you'd hear the classic, like, da-na-na.
There's a scene where Maisie comes across some, is it Apatosauruses, like in a
like a lumberyard?
Like lumberyard, and then she like tells them to lure it out safely with a flare, and they follow it, and it's got this beautiful piano track in the background. That almost brought a tear to my eye. That's like the beautiful stuff that I wanted to see in a film about dinosaurs being in the wild or just being out in the open.
It was nice.
It makes them seem like real creatures.
You know, this movie was long too. Like, it was like 2.5 hours. I think it was the longest, and it looked like it probably needed another half hour still to at least kind of fill up a lot of the gaps.
Yeah, either needed another half an hour or just like half an hour of it removed. Because there's some scenes in here that don't really need to be there, that just kind of exist.
Yeah.
Like there's an intro sequence with Claire and some others from Fallen Kingdom that just doesn't really forward the plot at all.
To save some dinosaurs and stuff. It was just kind of a thing to be like, this is what they're doing now. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I feel like we kind of have these same... You're not as being as, like, ridiculous as these reviewers saying it's a 30%. There's no such thing as a truly bad Jurassic movie. Like, if you say it's horrible, you're kind of being extreme. Like, it's just kind of, like, not what you wanted it to be. And that's fine.
Well, I'm one that loves Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, and I didn't like Fallen Kingdom as much, so it just is what it is. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a finale, though. It doesn't feel... Obviously, they're intending on like, expanding it, I guess, in a TV show or whatever. But, like, the film just, like, fizzles out.
But, like, you know, like, it was a fun experience, you know? I won't go and say it's not necessarily, like, I don't think this movie's gonna be remembered for all time, like, you know, Jurassic Park 1. But, you know, like, it was a good sixth movie in a franchise that was about, you know, just busting a load of dinosaur goodness.
Should we let's just briefly talk about spoilers, because there's just a few things that I kind of want to talk about. Like, I don't even know if they're really spoilers, but I was watching the film and trying to think of, like, a kill count.
Not enough people died.
No one dies. The T-Rex doesn't kill anyone. The Giganotosaurus doesn't kill anyone.
No one died.
It's barely in the film. It's barely in the film. They marketed the shit out of it, and it shows up, roars for a bit, and then gets shish kebabbed by the Therizinosaurus.
But, like, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That is my single most problem with the Jurassic World movies, not Jurassic Park, is that people don't die enough. One of the things that made the Jurassic Park movies so, like, you know, we all say, I like Jurassic Park more, it felt more real. Well, there's a reason why it felt more real, is because the good guys were getting killed too. It wasn't just the villains getting their... Which, the frickin', the ending of we got the finale to the Barbasol Nedry scene. And it was kind of like a full circle, which I got a kick out of that. I mean, I was like, of course, this is like ironically stupid, but I was like, good, he can die. Because, you know, it's the Dodson guys, you know, whatever. A lot of you guys will get it. Like, it's kind of a spoiler. But...
Which isn't played by the same actor. It's played by Campbell Scott, who's quite a famous actor, but obviously Cameron Thor is in prison, who played the original.
He still kind of played it off kind of the same. I mean, that guy was in the first movie for like 10 seconds, so it's like whatever. But like,
the dinosaurs are pretty good, but like they come and go in the space of 5 minutes.
It's very quick.
It's very quick.
And that's the one point I was saying earlier. Like, I was like, it seems like every like 5 minutes there's like a new dinosaur scene, and it's not I'm not really exaggerating. And like in one way that's cool because you see so many different dinosaurs, but a lot of the time it's just like let's just throw a new dinosaur just to get everybody to be like, ooh, what's this one? Ooh, what's this one? Ooh, what's this one? Ooh, what's this one? They're on the screen for like 10 seconds and then they disappear.
The Pyroraptor is on for 5 minutes in this whole sequence where they're this frozen lake.
He just kind of comes out of nowhere and you're like, all right.
Chris Pratt dives into, or like crashes into the water. He should have instantly frozen in shock and drowned. And the Pyroraptor, instead of going for him, just kind of circles around him because everyone in this film is immune to the dinosaurs. And that's probably one of my main issues
they can't die.
Yeah, because there's no tension in the film because you're watching Bryce Dallas Howard get cornered by some Dilophosaurus. No tension because she's not going to die. She's not going to die. Why should we feel anything right now?
Yeah.
You're having the Giganotosaurus bash its head into a building. Owen Grady starts shanking it.
Yeah, I've seen
He starts stabbing its face, which is funny, but you don't feel any tension because it's not like they're going to kill off Alan Grant.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even injure him. There was no one like limping away at the end. Everyone came out without a scratch on them. I don't know. It just feels like the film hasn't got a filmmaking style. It feels so lifeless just to look at. There are some scenes, like when they're in the mine. The mine! And, it's like lit by torches and stuff, and there's some spotlights, like, proper Spielberg style. And then it goes back to, like, fluorescent lights, mid-shots, and there's just nothing dynamic. It feels lazy, which makes me think that COVID did have an impact on the production. The messiness of certain things makes me feel like having to film so, sporadically, because it feels like they started shooting and then someone got COVID, so they had to stop for 3 weeks and then go back to it.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. So like they had a lot of trouble during the heat of their filming. So, with everything set, and I remember like Colin Trevorrow putting a post up that he's like, I'm editing the movie on like his iMac, and I'm like, you're editing your bazillion-dollar movie on your iMac at home? I know you're the director, but directors usually don't do the editing. I remember seeing that post and being like, why are you messing around with that at your house all by yourself? Seems a little odd. It definitely had some issues, and a lot of it were both internal and external. And I
think it's like the Godzilla King of the Monsters thing. It almost is very, very similar in outcome to Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Very similar.
It's got some worth to it, but it's from at least from my perspective, where I try to look at it from more of a filmmaking perspective, it's just very sloppy. For reasons that may have been out of their control, but like they still released this, and there's just things that could have been done so much better.
So that's kind of where we're at. Yeah. I think this isn't a normal review. But realistically, you heard our thoughts. I think it's solid, but obviously not amazing. Al thinks it's not solid, but not trash. That's how people need to kind of look more into these movies. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, go see the film anyway, because you might have completely different opinions to either of us. This might be your favorite Jurassic World film, or it might be your least favorite.
That's it. Go make your own opinion. This is the type of movie to where one person may hate it, one person may love it, and that's my final review. It's one of those type of movies.
Support dinosaur films whenever you can. Yep. That's why Prehistoric Planet, support that shit if you want more of it.
Or else we're just going to keep getting Marvel movies until we all die.
I'm in hell.